preservation of and increased access to the 92nd Street Y Humanities Audio Archives is generously funded by the National Endowment for the Humanities.
Deborah Jowitt, the wonderful moderator of our series, and I have been working together on this series for, I think it's about 9 years now, in which we have variously interviewed great dance personalities, choreographers, and shown a variety of films and done other special events. Tonight is a particularly special event because after the film, we will have a discussion with the filmmaker and Charles Atlas, famous film director, and two of the magnificent dancers who are in the film. After the discussion, there will be refreshments in the next room, and we will allow the chairs to be cleared, and we'll come back in here and engage in some of that dancing ourselves. So I'm really excited about this evening. Hey. I love you too. I first saw this film 2 years ago at a conference in San Francisco. And I was so moved by what I saw that I vowed then and there to bring this film to the 92nd Street Y. We were going to show it last year, but were bumped in favor of the great Henry Kissinger. And so we are finally able to show you this film. It is a wonderful film, a glimpse into a beautiful and crazy world, and I hope you enjoy it. So we are going to now show Check Your Body at the Door.
So Sally, you've been going to clubs since the 70s. So what finally birthed this film? What got you going?
What got me going was that starting in 1976 is when I started really going to the clubs and writing about them in the same way that I'd write about stage performance. And Archie Burnett was my student at the School of Visual Arts, and he knew that I went to clubs, but he was sure that I was not going to the right clubs. And so he said, you got to come to the Loft.
Ding.
And I went to the Loft, and it totally changed all my ideas about clubs and dancing and introduced me to all these magnificent dancers, many of whom are out in the audience as well, and to a style of dancing that I think is extremely beautiful and virtuosic and has compelled my interest ever since.
What kind of ideas did it change? What ideas did you have that it broke?
Well, I think I had never seen dancing at that level of sort of risk and skill combined together. Also, there was a nonstop fluid quality to it, which was very different than the street, because the street, because of where it's performed and because of the sort of energy and rhythm of the streets, it is much more fragmented.
Edgier.
Yeah, and this had a smoothness to it, and I'm sure that you all saw that. It was kind of like this nonstop fluidity of movement that is extremely difficult to master. And I didn't know that art could be so casual.
It has a great atmosphere too. I mean, that idea that anybody's welcome, your color, your gender, that the women are welcome too, that...
Come on down.
Yeah, right. So you talk, we see you working out moves, we see you trying different things. Do you think of like forming a style when you start out? Like, what are the things that work for my body, you guys?
Happy
what are the things I want to do?
Right.
Happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
Oh, we have a lot of those. We do that all night.
Because the club is like the classroom,
Yeah.
I mean, there were people that actually had a friend of mine who said, well, I ain't going to do that. I got to practice at home first. Nah, but you just got to go for it. You got to get in the club, listen to the music, let the music tell you what to do, and just...
And you flow. I mean, we're in there for a long time. We don't do 4 hours.
Yeah.
I might do 4 hours at one spot and go into another spot, but
Yeah.
we do a lot of time. A lot of time.
You're not going all that time, or are you kind of going?
You are, believe it or not, you are. You can't stop.
Yeah.
Because stop and start again,
Yeah.
going uphill, that's not a good idea.
I mean, we could take a disco nap and then, get back up again. And
Right. And, like, you can sort of see people like, oh, I like that move. Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what it is? We're imitating each other
Yeah.
all night long.
Because that's kind of the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of love in the room. It's very like being together with your relatives,
Yeah, you're imitating Uncle Bill. All right, sit down.
Yeah, and if this one, this one's screwed up, you're going to point it out, yo.
Yeah, so we just imitate each other's steps all night.
the playfulness is great.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to make mention of this. David Mancuso is here in the house. And I have to honestly say, that's the man right there that changed, and I am said just like it is, that changed my whole concept of what dance was. Because when I went to the Loft, which is his space, and the whole freeness and the whole energy and the whole, like, yo, listen, there you go. Exactly, the sound system. It was the sound. I don't know if there's any like a church. Hello, right there.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it. A lot of love in that house. And because of that, you were able, with a lot of love in anything, you're able to grow and grow and go in the way that you would naturally go.
Yeah.
But before that, I used to go, I'm not down at it now. Let me correct this. I'm not downing commercial clubs. What I'm saying is that commercial clubs have a different purpose.
Yeah.
Certain people go there to pick up. Certain people go there, to socialize after work.
Drop off.
Yeah, right. Certain people go over there to drop off too, right?
Yeah.
Right. But the thing that I notice is that it's more okay. I'm in the scene. Commercial clubs.
Yeah.
This place is it's a home. Actually, it was David's home. You walk into anybody's home. There's certain rules that you have, and there's certain etiquette that you must, do. Most clubs now, if you want to call it clubs, they have no club etiquette. Matter of fact, these clubs out here, the people that go to them don't know what club etiquette is. You do not step in somebody's space. That's number one. All right? I hear that, right?
Yeah.
Number two, if you're going to smoke, do
Go
that outside or away from the dance floor where people are.
Yeah, because your goal is to dance, right? Your goal is not to be seen or to make a scene.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you don't force yourself on someone. You just, it's inviting. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
But enough of me getting into that.
So Charlie, when you came onto this, Sally started this project in 1992, and she still hasn't quite finished with it to her liking. And her original collaborator was the late Michael Schwartz, who was on it for a year, I guess, before he passed away. And then the film sort of was in limbo for a while until Charlie came aboard. And so how was that to walk into the middle of this?
Well, it's the only time I've ever done anything like that. Sally came to me with asking me about this project, and since the only kind of dancing I've ever done is club dancing, and I also started at the Loft. And used to love what? Yes. So it's a kind of film that I had always wanted to do. So I took Michael's material and I shot the. I wanted to do also some new shooting, which kind of gave more of the flavor of what it's like in a club. So we did that new shooting in a place called Les Poulets with an invited group, and we lit it so we could actually shoot and tried to have a party there. And then the editing was quite a process. I mean,
I'm thinking about were you dancing with the camera there because it's so dizzying, the lights and the turning?
There's a regular cameraman that I work with and who did just such a great job on that shoot. It was Paul Gibson, and we've worked together for a long time. So I don't do camera. I used to do camera work, but I don't do anymore. I just direct.
But you have to edit it. I mean, because I'm thinking, how do you frame something when people are going like popcorn coming out of the,
No, he was right in there. Sometimes you saw too close. He got kicked by the by the dancers, but you have to go in and go for the shot.
That was one of the things that Charlie and I talked about, because it was really important to me, because when I go to the clubs, what I do is I'm right at the edge of the circle. I obviously don't participate. I'm the professional watcher. And it's that idea of, you get sweat flicked on you. And I sort of wanted that feeling with the shooting. And I think Charlie and Paul just captured that so well.
That's another issue, the sort of outsider issue. I mean, did you feel like you were kind of, you and the camera were kind of interfering with anything? Or is everybody just too into it?
It really was very integrated, I think, into that particular event. I mean, that's what I liked about it. And I know I've tried to shoot in clubs before, and it's very intrusive. You have to turn on the light, or if you don't, you can't see anything, and people are crowded too close. And so we tried to find a balance between lighting that was shootable and something that was danceable.
But I honestly think that worked mainly because that the people that were in there, we were all family. If you're with your family, you don't care who's looking. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. If the music moves you to do that, I don't care. Bomb could drop, man. You'll still be, getting what you need to get out.
Yeah. So how did you get the idea of using Archie as a sort of narrator, running the stuff past him and having him comment on it?
Because it's through my eyes, through Archie's eyes, and Archie to me was always the linchpin. A lot of it has to do with our history and just knowing each other for 20 years. And I don't know, there's that kind of communication that goes real fast when you know somebody really well. And so it was seamless and easy and wonderful. And besides that, it's his world. This is his world.
It's better than having you as an outside
talker. I didn't know that was
a talking head.
No, I can't stand that.
Well, even from a dancer's point of view, he's the most respected dancer on the dance floor.
Yeah.
In terms of the time he's put in and the respect that he has for whoever comes into the circle. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Some people get shady sometimes into the circle. Like, how dare you or who you are to come in the circle? Whereas Archie and I now we're considered dinosaurs on the dance floor.
And the dinosaurs. That's the deal.
We have that respect for that.
Yeah. You have their respect, and you have generosity. You have generosity with them. I noticed that. Yeah, a lot.
We don't have to. We don't have to make that much noise. We just show up.
Yeah, you have to encourage everyone. I don't care. Everybody has something to contribute on that dance floor. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the more people in the room, just getting a vibe for somebody who doesn't even dance and just that turns me out. Because I know for whatever point they're at, right there, they're having a real good time.
Yeah.
And their energy, right?
Sure.
And their energy feeds into my energy.
Yeah.
Whatever is happening on those wheels of steel over there, right? The man behind those wheels of steel, he's the one that's going to let you, actually steer you to where he wants to go. Yeah. But sometimes now, if you just allow that music to do what it's naturally going to do, you're like in a void. Time stops, you just coast, you're in there, in there thick, So I just look at it this way. If more people just allowed the music to do what it's going to do, you wouldn't have to worry about all the other stuff, Stuff like,
you stepped on my foot.
You know, just.
I'm gonna wait for the next song. It's gonna be better than this one. They're all good.
Exactly.
They're all good.
It seems like you're in it, and at the same time you're a little bit able to judge what you're doing. It's not like a rave where it's just like, oh, turn me loose, freak me out.
No.
See,
No.
I'm not gonna down a rave. What I'm saying, what a rave is different. It's different. There you go. You see, in a rave, classic rave, you would say it's the drug that makes the party more than what it is.
Right.
You can't rave for 20 years.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
No.
No way.
No.
No way. You can get 20,000 people to rave
Yeah.
for 20 hours,
Yeah.
but you can't rave for 20. No way.
Because by the second year, you wouldn't remember anything.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm saying,
you'll be
right?
remembered by family members. you cannot rave for 20 years. Right away.
That's what I mean about the quality of being in it, and being in it, and at the same time having a certain little distance that you have.
We
you guys
do.
have with dance.
We cherish quality very well.
Yeah.
Archie and I went to a party a month and a half ago. There was 15 people there. And we tore it up. We tore it up like it was 1,500 people there. We tore up shop.
Sure.
All you need is the right vibe. That's it.
So 15 people?
Yeah.
Oh, we tore. Oof.
You know, it seems to me like, there's some of the great, crazy stuff that looks impossible to do. Everybody's really turned on by it, but you're also turned on by each other's very fast footwork, or talking about Marjorie and saying, she doesn't have to break out in a handstand because
Not at all.
Oh, yeah.
right. So there's a sort of value on style and cool and whatever, as well as the amazing, truly amazing things, or jumping up and landing in a split.
I think there's power in subtlety. There's a lot of power in subtlety. And you don't always have to crank it up at 110, to be respected. There are people in the scene right now, and a lot of these dancers in here know that they don't have to go 100 miles a minute for you to go, yeah, man, that's tasty. Yeah. Word.
Without the ecstasy, yeah. It's
I mean, you can say it, yeah.
And that circle, you were speaking, Sally, about tradition, about this, they spoke to in the film about the circle, the whole African, circle that you've seen this a lot in your work, and the tap, the semicircle at the end, where everybody comes out and does the thing, goes back, and everybody says, yeah.
I think it is that thing about where, the group is greater than any single individual part, and each one contributes in. And one of the things that you notice is that the energy bursts are very high, very intense, and they don't last for a really long time, but it's nonstop. And one of the things that makes it nonstop is the ability to share and to feed into that circle, so that the thing being created is greater than the individual parts of it. And that's a very exciting idea, politically, socially, and certainly in terms of dance. And I think that intergenerational thing that exists in-house is also terribly important. And these are the elders. And it gets passed on by imitation, by respect, and just liking to hang out together. That's what it comes down to. And
43.
Wow. Well, you see the people kind of piggybacking, they're dancing on each other, and it is like some kind of current is passing. So this is the moment when I can go in, when I can jump in and circle around and come up, and it passes from one person to another, and you get that really, really strong feeling.
One of the judges of really great dancers, too, is that ability to know exactly when to cut the phrase and and jump in or cut the phrase and jump out. And they have that. There's another word for circle, which is cipher. And cipher is such a wonderful word because it also means, to look through something to see a truth or something behind the surface. And so I just like the idea that word, that's a younger generation word to call it the cipher, but it's so cool because it's so revealing of something really important about what that circle is.
You do. There's a lot of talk here and there in the film about, well, that's hip hop, or that's b-boy, that's not house, and you're talking not so much about the moves, which can be borrowed, right, or appropriated, but something about attitude.
Definitely.
What is that difference?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah. For me, it's a lifestyle. Hip hop is it's a way of life, and house is a way of life for house heads. You see, there's a difference because you have club heads, you have house heads. Club heads are just happy to be in the club, House heads are the people that really look and will follow, if you want to call it a movement, wherever it goes. I mean, right now, thank God the Dark Ages is over, meaning Giuliani. But because the reason why I say that, because he put a lot of stress on clubs to really stay in existence. You see, in the 80s, there were hundreds of them. But yes, like anything else, if you let it run amok, you'll have all the other evil festering things growing in there. So he chose to, nip that in the bud. But that left all the club heads and house heads with no place to go and wandering around like sheep. So what they decided to do is to make their own parties, but bring them elsewhere. Right now, everybody's flocking to Brooklyn, because that's where the music is still kept alive. There's still some spots in Manhattan, but not as much as it used to be.
And with the right flavor.
Yeah.
You gotta have the right flavor.
Because house heads will follow that.
Yeah.
They won't be just happy to be in a room.
Right.
They will follow it.
Yeah, we flocked.
That's the right sound system, the right look, the right everything. Right?
We deal with the groove. We deal with the groove. Sometimes it's like, hey, it's a little system, but they got a great spot. The spot is real good. We deal with that. We deal with that. Archie and I came from a spot. We started from 12 to 3 in Manhattan, then 3:30 to 6. We were in Brooklyn, and then it was like, yo, we can go further into Brooklyn from 8 to 2.
That's right.
So yeah, it's a question of, this is it right here. This is where it's good, and that's what we're doing. We do it where it's good.
So how do you do it night after night? I mean, how are you still alive?
Disco naps, baby.
Yeah. Little naps, huh?
Yeah. Well, we
both working 9 to 5.
I work more than 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I get to work an hour before work time every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just general practice.
So just you cat naps all the time?
Well, if I know I'm going out, after the club, I go straight to work. So like, let's say if I go to the club at 10, hang out till 4, go to another spot from 4 to 6, and then jump in my car and get up to Queens in an hour to start work from 7 to 3. So
did y'all get that?
So now, but see now,
I tell 'em what
I'm gonna
happens
tell the
at
truth
3:30.
now. After I get off at 3 o'clock and I head on home, that's where I get into the coma.
Yeah, but
it's well worth it though, because for me, as I'm finding as I get older, I dance smarter.
Yeah.
Maybe
even just fall asleep for a few seconds.
Yeah, But the thing is, once the music hits you, it's like I was 23 again,
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I started late. I started actually clubbing late because my mom wouldn't allow that,
How'd you get into it?
Well, I kind of like snuck out, I've always been dancing since I was 3 years old, and I was raised a Seventh-day Adventist, and we don't do that kind of thing. So my mom kind of like made sure I was like in lockdown. but I had the key. So what I did was, once I found the loft, and at that time it was $6.99, and you did get your penny back, Yeah, baby. So once I found that, I don't care, I would go the whole week without any money, but I made sure that I had enough for the loft. But since the party was like open at midnight and it could go till Sunday 12 the next afternoon or 2, and then we go to the Greasy Spoon, which was around the corner, and party there some more, So I got a lot of hell for it. I did. Yeah. I did get a lot of, Archie, why you doing that? Let me tell you already, you're doing the devil's work. What's wrong with you? All of that stuff. So it had to be a meeting of the minds. I mean, I did have to go through that.
Yeah. How about you, Bravo?
Oh, I didn't have that trouble.
You just, how'd you get interested? I mean,
Well, to me, the most interesting thing, my dad danced like the devil on fire. Oh. Period.
He was fat. Boy.
Period.
Fat.
And my stepfather, more conservative, when I graduated architecture, he said, "Oh, no more of that dancing now. Now we can get a real job, and you don't have to." I was like, right. It went to sleep. I went out, work, and just kept the routine.
Oh, it agrees with you, I'd say.
No, well, it works. It's not. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, just like everybody else, when it's time to get up, I actually pop up. I can actually not set a clock and pop up because I keep my mind set at all times. But I do get comatose, and I can zap out. And the one thing for Archie and I can honestly say, we don't do drugs. We don't drink. Mm-hmm. It's not like we used to, and we don't anymore.
Yeah.
No, we never did.
We never did. Archie had a problem with it because he thought everybody else never did.
Yeah.
That could cause a problem.
He's like, hey, they're all like us. I'm like, duh.
No.
It's just you and I, buddy.
Yeah, but you're still dancing, and a lot of them are not.
We're still at it. But it does hurt. I mean, I don't want anybody to think that we're Supermen.
No.
We dance like toddlers, and we sleep and wake up like toddlers. I can dance like I'm 7 and just carry on, but when I wake up, I'm 97.
Charlie, when you're trying to edit this, what's going on here?
I've just this particular one, just feeling it. Yeah. Really, you just try to get the. I mean, I've been working with dance for a long time, and just something I know how to do. And this is a particular kind that I don't go out that much anymore. I'm not like them. I used to, more or less, but I still have a feeling for it.
Yeah, I think you have a feeling for that rhythm, or those rhythms. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like your other recent, Merce Cunningham film, which has its own kind of.
Well, that was This was a particular. I mean, each project is a different kind of a film, and this one, because I didn't, was a very mixed project. I mean, there were parts that I shot which I, was more involved in, and then the parts that I didn't shoot was about trying to find a form for them. Mm-hmm. Just watching, it was just a pleasure to watch the dancing for me.
Because the cutting rhythm is really exhilarating and helps get that, get that feeling that you'd feel if you were there.
Yeah, well, that was the goal, probably to try to. I mean, I did a first edit actually of the stuff at the club that was just half hour of just dancing, which I loved. Mm-hmm. But of course, we were trying to make a TV show, and so we couldn't really use that.
But it's emotional.
But it really flowed for a half hour,
Yeah.
It's very emotional. Yeah. Very, very emotional.
Well, and to see your friends, to see everybody up there, and to see them trying out great steps, and
Well, even if I didn't know them, and if I wasn't one of them, just out of respect, when you watch something like that, it just makes you say, "Wow, that's a tribe doing their thing."
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
And I understand that Asia Moon is no longer missing in action.
Asia Moon is found at last. Yeah, she's doing well, man. She's doing well. She actually, is doing an acting. She's acting now.
Uh-huh.
Yes, she got a spot on 100 Center Street.
Oh.
And yeah, she's alive and well. She couldn't be here today. She had root canal. She's like hurting bad.
But that, that proves you're alive and well if you can have root canal, right?
There you go. There you go.
So what do you do when you don't do it anymore?
I just remember.
Just remember.
See, when I was slick back in the day, thank God, once again, the Loft being very an inviting place. A lot of the DJs that, and I have to make mention of them, Joe Llanos, Tyrone Francis, Victor Rosado, Ruben. There's so many. Francois, all of these guys, they're so generous. They let you know exactly what they're playing. And back then, I was no fool. Once I got the name of the cut, I went out and I got it. Mm-hmm. So the deal is this. When the legs bust out and I can't do it anymore, that turntable will still be working because I still use vinyl. Mm-hmm. I'll play that thing and just remember what was going on back then,
What do you think, Bravo? What about you?
They want, like any dance form with the music. I mean, people are still doing the waltz. They're still doing swing. Mm-hmm. See, Latin music has always been around. House is new. Mm-hmm. House is still new when it comes to that. It's still going to be. I can't wait till I turn 80. I'm still going to fuck.
You're still going to do it, right?
Work.
What? Come on.
Well, look at the Nicholas brothers. Those splits, right. They did them pretty late before they had to have hip replacements.
Oh, no, well, you know what it is? We know thousands and thousands of steps. Whenever the music is around, we would adjust our style to music.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to have any problem with that.
Great.
None whatsoever. Guaranteed.
I believe you.
Until it breaks, baby.
I believe you. I take that. Okay. Well, it looks like we have just a few more minutes. Sally, is there something else you'd like to say before we start dancing?
Work.
I just want to say I'm really grateful that David Mancuso, I can't see you, but I know you're out in the audience, and I'm just really grateful for that because this is the man who is almost responsible for starting certainly this project. David didn't even know that, but it's true because of the Loft. And I think starting this kind of dancing and this kind of club life and all the rest of it, and that's a magnificent thing to have done. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Dave.
Is there anything else anybody else wants to say?
Did y'all like it?
Yeah.
Well, on my behalf, I would just like to thank Archie for running into me on the dance floor because we've gone through thousands and thousands of people through the many years we've hung out together. Because I think between us, there's like 50 years of dancing between the two of us. And I definitely would like to thank Sally because we've been at it for a long time. And the reason why she's struggling to just keep it going is just so we can do this all over the world for people like yourselves to just sit down and just say, wow.
That's it on.
Unbelievable. And I say, wow.
Well, Sally's looking for another NEA grant to finish it up, right? There's some things she's
exactly that. I recognize Elizabeth's voice. And before this thing can be released, there are permissions that have to be gotten. You could hear from the sound. There's a lot of sound leveling that has to be corrected, color corrections. And that's fine line editing and fine cut stuff. And it's very expensive to do all of that. And as soon as that's done, I would like this to immediately be shown to as many people as possible in whichever format, whether that's going to be on television or whether that's going to be through film festivals or whether that's going to be through some sort of, cottage distribution. I want it to happen. And then My goal is to also place this and all of the outtakes, which will be cataloged, into Lincoln Center, Smithsonian, Library of Congress, San Francisco, probably someplace mid-America, either Minneapolis or in Texas, so that researchers like myself will be able to have access to it, because this form of dancing is not well recorded, and it's so important because we lose it before we even know what it is that we had. And this captures a moment of history, and I think it's a really important moment of history, and so that's what will happen to it.
And not just for researchers, but for young dancers.
Yeah, it's always about.
We really need to see it. And then part of the reason you need money too is to make a film. You have to get it onto film so you can show it at a film
It's
festival.
got to be translated from beta to film.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
So if there's any angels out there.
Or any angels. Anyway, so thank you all very much, and let's party.
Hey.
So you're in.
Thanks for listening. For more information on the 92nd Street Y, New York, and all of our programs, please visit us at 92ny.org.